All right, I think we're pretty much all set here. Yeah, we can turn that off. And well, hello there. Wait for my phone to catch up with everything, and it will after time. Anyway, I had to cut some extra pieces of foam board. I had to buy some foam board and cut them to the size I wanted for the some upcoming project. And this is a scrap piece that was left. So we seem to be having a little trouble here. All right, let's try that. Let's start that all over again. Let's see what happens here. There we are. Okay, anyway, you might be able to see it. Hey, Sonia. I did start some splatter. This is 8 by 16. This is a scrap piece of foam board, and I put some watercolor paper on it, spray glued it, cut the edges, taped it, put the mask of the Swan in there. And so it'd be a nighttime scene, more or less. Got those stars. I don't know how much of the stars are going to be left when I'm done doing whatever I got to do. I had to do the stars ahead of time so they can dry. So when I put the glycerin on, they don't smear, at least too bad. All right, okay. So let's get right on to it. Down below on your lower right, you'll see titanium white, cad orange, cad red, alizarin crimson, ultra Prussian blue, and some phthalo green. That's what that is, phthalo green. All right. Okie dokie. Let's get right on to it. I know I don't have the other camera on showing my face. I do have it, I just don't need it on really. I don't really do too many animal portraits, but I guess I would have to more or less be in the mood to do them. So, now if my video seems to pause or whatnot, let me know. Seems to be something kind of funky going on. It is raining out here, so it kind of messes up with the online thing a wee bit. All right, so I didn't want that to happen. Let's put this back up here. All right, I'm using a slightly smaller brush. They got me. Ugh, the white paint. It rolled right on it. Yuck. It got me. I gotta clean this stuff. That's what happens when you put the paint brushes a wee bit too close to the palette. It happens though. I'm using a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch flat brush for these. But I have to go a little smaller just because of the size of the painting here. Okay, so let's get to getting here. I'm gonna use a little bit of this cad red here. I'll just drag it out here, and I will just throw on a nice circular shape, whatnot. Just pop it in there. All right, and now the key to doing these things is to act like the subject is not even there. All right, and that's pretty much what I'm gonna do. Act like the subject's not even around. Just put him in there. Just like that, just throw him in there. I might want to expand him a little more. Something like that. All right, let's go into our darker, deeper red, and we'll give him a deeper center. Not deep enough, so we'll throw some blue in there, kind of darken that up a little bit. Let's get a little bit more blue. Just like that. Just kind of darken up and give him a little dark smile down there. Alright. Obviously we're going to darken that one. This one got a little bit of character in it, but I can't really do too much because it's going to be hidden by his neck, so we'll kind of play around with it a little bit right there. Alright. Hey, how you doing, Vermont? And who else is there? Slee Stacks, how are you? Madonna, hello. Nice to see you guys. Now my phone is acting a little wonky. So, like I said, I hope you guys can see this well. I have no clue yet because I'm actually looking at a picture of a swan, but I don't really need the picture of the swan right now. So I can actually reduce this guy. I'll reduce him. Let's see if I can pull. That's not going to do it either. Oh, there it is. I'll pull regular YouTube on my tablet here and see if it will catch. I'm hoping that it will, but we don't know yet. I'm getting into a little red. We'll just put the red in here. I'm using a much smaller brush. I'm going to get some orange here. And a touch of white. We're going to brighten that up a little bit. Oh, let's brighten that up a little bit more. I'm going to just create a quick light source here. Okay. Alright, and we'll pop the light source right in here. Something like that. And I'll just kind of smudge it around here and there. We might play around with a little bit of that. Come in here and pop some of that around in here. A little bit of finger painting today. Okay. All right. We're going to play around with that. Oh, probably around in here. And we'll kind of cup it around here like that. And we'll just blend that out. Once again, a little bit of finger painting there. Just like that. So you can somewhat see the general shape. Okay. Oh, I didn't necessarily want to sign into Thanos Vision. Let's go to my channel. And let's do it this way. Bear with me. Of course, it's going through its commercials there too. Hey, Pittsburgh, how are you, dear? Hope all is well. It's good to see you. And welcome to the gang. All right. So, very simple way to do roses. For those of you who are familiar with flowers, you almost can see the shape happening right now as I speak. Okay. All right. Let's go into a little bit of we'll tease out some orange. We'll put the orange right in here. Now this white that's on here is already dry, so we're gonna get some white. And you have to kind of encourage the white orange with a little bit of white. Kind of step it out there a little bit because orange is semi-transparent. This is these are all Grumbacher material paints that I'm using right now. All right. Since we're concentrating on the roses, I'll pull the camera up a little bit. It's going to come out of focus, but we'll straighten that out in a second. It's going to shake a little bit. I'm at a weird angle to pop this handle. We'll put it right about there. That should be good enough. The focus really isn't that bad, but I'll put it up on there anyway. All right, let's get to getting. Let's get a nice rim of color. Kind of start that bright rim of color there. You need a strong, almost like a line That's basically what I'm looking for. It's a strong line of color. It's just to shell and frame the top part of the rose. Down below can be faded out like this. It can be rounded, and you blend out the bottom. Bottom can be blended out. I just want that strong line of light highlight-ish color there, like so. Okay. All right, we go back in. Once again, I'm just concentrating on really the line of it. I want nothing else, just that line. Okay. And we'll keep more or less messing with that part of it. I'm going back into my lighter red here, and we'll start to kind of flesh out some things. We'll get some like petals going on there. I'll kind of mess around with them, float them in there. Let's kind of play with this one here and give it a line happening there. We'll kind of fade that out into that color. Just like that. Just let it travel around, have a little fun within itself. Okay. We'll have something come out here. I'll just create one right here and go inward. Nice little push. Go on in, push. Okay. I don't want to lose any of the dark. Some of that dark there is important to keep that. What I'm talking about is this stuff in here, because you need some of that dark to help push out. Push out those leaves to really brighten them up there. All right, we can kind of add a little dark in here. Like I say, it helps push out the bowl, push out the leaves. Okay, you need that dark to assist you with stronger light. Got me? All right, okay. Alrighty, let's get with some regular red here. Like I said, I'm using a much smaller brush. And we'll use this kind of get some of those outside petals happening there and play around. Now, a lot of these petals you see are actually on the swan's head, but I don't care. It doesn't matter right now. You just kind of want the flow of the flower going on. If you don't want the striations, don't add them. Okay, no problem. Just don't put them in there. Outside flower, we kind of put some petals going that way. We'll kind of work some out. I'm going into regular cat red here, because this is more or less the shadow side. Okay, I'll work some the other way here. I'll get a little bit of the orange into that deep red here. And believe it or not, no glycerin. I'll kind of put a little touch of a smooth out some of those striations there and bring that red around. I'll bring it down past. See how I can make this flower and the petals just kind of trail and quite frankly do whatever I want it to do. Let's try another one right here. We'll trail it. And curve it around. Whoops, went the wrong way. Curve it around. Curve it around that way. Smooth that out. Okay, I'm going to clean this brush. We're going to be real slick with the interior of the flower. I should use a wider brush for this. So I got a regular 1/2 inch brush, just wet the bristles here. I just need a little bit of paint, just a little bit on the corner there. All right. And we'll come here and we'll just add some cutesy, really thin lines, just kind of represent the interior of these roses in there. Turn them around a little bit. Now I'm gonna do the same thing with that red. And we're gonna go on the other half and kind of pop that red in there. Just fill that out a little bit, like so. Go back in there, I'll rub some of this and tone that down a little bit. I'll go back into my red and white, or my yellow, orange rather, and just give a stronger indentation of some of that color there. All right, go into my little red, dip into a little orange. I might have to take the top. Now you guys don't really see the glycerin over here. It's kind of hidden away in the corner. Just a little bit of glycerin, just a little bit. And we'll start popping in some extra stuff, little bits of a little bit of love in there like that. Pop them in there. And as I do that, I'll cross bound with a little dark to keep it rounded there. Okay, I don't think I need to deal with any more stuff in there. Kind of deepen some of those other petals. I feel like I need some more definition somewhere. Let's get a little bit of red. Slight touch of glycerin, very slight. I'll just separate the glycerin red from everything else. And we'll kind of pop some flourishes in here. Maybe going on the other side in there and travel it around there. Curve that around a little bit. Maybe something here. Bring it in. You'll start figuring out the path and the petal shapes and all of that good stuff soon enough. You'll do it. It might look a little confusing, but you just have to keep doing it. All right. Okay. Enough playing with that guy. I think it pretty much has enough. I'm going into my, oh, this is not blue, this is purple actually. I wonder why it was a little, not necessarily weak, but that's right, it's purple, but that's okay. We're gonna throw some of that purple in there. Just to highlight or show off the highlights really of the other petals, even in the dark. Show some variations. All right, let's throw some of that up in here a little bit. Look at that. Just like that. All right. Okay. Okie dokie. As I'm looking at it, that'd be okay. All right, let's go to the other one on the bottom. This fella right here. We'll get some orange, a little bit of white. We'll mix that in. Okay. Once again, I just want to, sometimes all it takes is just a little line like that. Slight push and a little line. Just like that. See how that bowl starts to form? And we can get other ones in there. Just pop them in there a little bit. We'll kind of pop a little fading in there. Right in here, I get a stronger one and just kind of curl it. We'll come here, curl it in here. Get that bowl look going there. Okay. Just like that. All right, cause you kind of see what's happening, what's going on there. Let's take this one. Let's get some orange here. Let's take this, come out really thick and really thin, just like that. All right, okay. I'm gonna take the smaller brush because I'm dealing with a smaller area to work with. I'm gonna go in a little red into this orange here. Lighten it up a bit. I'm pulling the brush toward me. Okay, and we'll just take it and slight push and go that way. Slight push. Right out there. We'll stroke these in the inside. Give it a little petal saying hello to everybody there. He flipped around there. Just like that. Okay. I can we'll thin him out, make him a nice line there. Just like that. Okay. Now for all the rest, we can darken it all in with the regular red. This type of floral, you really can accent the light in the shade. Okay. A little touch of glycerin, a very small bit. A little bit of glycerin goes a long way. Mary, I don't know. Oh, he said you use Grumbacher medium. This is just vegetable glycerin I'm using with this acrylic paint. And trust me, please, a very little of this stuff goes a very long way. Glycerin will also turn your paint transparent. Okay. Now, what I'm doing now is using just regular paint. It's not very transparent because I don't want it to be. Okay. I'll come out here and pop some the other way. I'll just give it a little curve. These petals are a little dark. They're on the other side. Okay. And remember, there's a swan head all in here. Okay. So I'm not really, just darken it a little bit with just a little bit of red in there. A little touch of red, and we'll move it around a little bit. Just like that. We'll come out here and pop some guys out here a little bit. Just like that, and just curve it around. It's really a flick of the wrist is what I'm doing. All right. I can go into this orange here, and we'll just kind of highlight the tips there like that, and give it a little push. Not enough orange. I'm just getting a little orange, a little white, and I'm just little accents there. Sometimes all it takes is just a little line, and that's all it, that's all it really takes. And I'm gonna put a little something up here. Give it a little peak there. All right. Pop it in there like that. I really don't think I need to accentuate any more. I can probably brighten, let's get a little bit of white. We'll brighten one side of this flower still. There's glycerin on that in the paint, so give it a little push, and we'll kind of come around here. A little push. Kind of bring it on the inside there like that. Okay. And we'll start to give little pop in some Little swirlies in there. And come on the other side there. And I'll take a little bit of white and orange mix here, and I'm just concentrating it right on the edge, and we'll kind of give a couple little dots there. See that? All right. All right. Oh, I bet it is, Mary. I just read your post. Okay, let's start to do some leaves. Like I say, I don't know how many of these stars are going to really appear in the background. It kind of doesn't matter. Let's go into. I'll probably use this brush, the 1/2 inch. We'll pop this green and a little bit of purple. We'll kind of deepen this green a little bit. I'm gonna need more than that, so let's really put that out there. Really get into that green and purple, mix it like this. A slight touch of glycerin just to loosen the paint just a little bit, get it flowing. I don't want it really too transparent. Okay, and we just start general shapes. We'll just yeah, you guys can see this pretty well. I'll just kind of block it in, at least block in one right about here, and we'll kind of pop one in here. Of course, you barely see it, but trust me, it is definitely in there. Let's kind of pop one right up in here. It's going to go across his beak, right up in there. You guys may not see this very well. You probably won't, but let's pop one. Let's pop another one right here, right before he gets to the water line. So we got one right there. I'm painting these leaves, these flowers, like the like, quite frankly, like the animal does not exist. Okay. You figure out where your highlight color is going to be at, and very carefully pop in those leaf shapes there. Got that little, well, it's not light enough. Little vein there. It's up to you which leaf will overlap the other one. Your choice. Really your choice. Who overlaps what? Okay. Let's go into our purple. We'll bring the purple here. We'll add a little light to that purple. A little more light to that purple. Deepen that purple a little bit there. A little touch of glycerin there. I'm gonna wipe my brush off. I don't want too much paint on it. Then I just get some of this. And we're gonna slightly pop it in there. I want that fade to be a little more gentle. I'll just kind of tap it and soften those edges there. And I can brush it inward. Same thing here, brush it in. Just fill some of that up a little bit. Okay. All right, let's continue with the darker half. And once again, soft bristle brush, I'll just tap it, trail it in there. And the glycerin still moves around, so you can kind of, you know, play around with it, fade it in there. Give it a little point there. Same with this guy, even though you might not see it. Okay. Let's clean that off. Let's dip into a little white there. That should be bright enough. Just like that. Let's go back into a little bit of this white and green there, and we'll start to pop in some brighter highlights. No glycerin. Little gradual things. I don't have to do every leaf, every petal. Sorry, I got caught up in it. You guys couldn't see that, but we're almost done as far as the flowers are concerned. Let me put the focus on that there. All right. Okay. Not too bad. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. Just clean off the brush. Something you haven't seen me do too often, but you can do it. Kind of adds to the quote-unquote realism, even though these are very stylized flowers. Let's just pop one right here, right on top of that other one. It brings the other flower back. Okay. See that? Don't have any fear doing these. Okay. One thing you can't have is trepidation. I know that's a big word. I'll bill you for it later. The way I do these is think of an airplane taking off. Okay, there we go. Oh, let's do a little bit of that purple stuff still. Right here on the other side. Just like that. You don't necessarily have to highlight every single one of them, but something like this, it should do fine. All right. You can still see a little bit of the stars, a little bit, but it will all make sense in a second or two. All right, let's clean off this one brush. The other brushes yesterday that were a little stiff, all I did was spray it with rubbing alcohol, let it sit for a little bit, then I put it in regular water, and it's back to its normal little self there. Okay, let's throw some. Let's use a script. No, let's use this little tiny fella. I think we're close enough, maybe, that you guys can see this. I hope. I'm going into some water. This little teeny tiny rigger brush here. I'm going to my white. And I'm not using any glycerin. It's just water. There we go. Okay. All right. I'm hoping this is, you guys can see this. We'll put one, I guess we'll put one right here. I'll make it a little larger. I'm just wiping off my brush. The inside of this, because white paint leaves kind of a chalky film. All right, so you just kind of destroy the inside edge of the white, like that. I'll just go with some alizarin crimson for the bottom. Okay. rinse off that little 2 hairs of brush hair, and we'll just kind of put a little dot right there. There go bubble number 1. Not bad, right? Let's get some more of this soupy white paint here, and we'll do another one. We'll do one up here. Put a nice one way up here like that. All right, now that line's a little thick on purpose. Destroy the inside line. You see, you get this little film happening there, and that's okay. Let's go with some phthalo green. This should be dark enough. Right on the bottom there, like that. All right. I think you guys see where this is going. Let's grab another little dot of white. Just like that. So you just make a little convincing highlight to a bubble. Dewdrop or whatever you want to call it. All right. All right, we got 2. Let's put one right up here in the shade somewhere like that. All right, we'll clean off the brush, wipe it off. I know my hand's at a weird angle, it's okay. Get rid of that inside. That paint's a little thick there. Now when the paint's a little thick and you get one of those, that's all right. Get some water. And just lift it out of there. See that? I'm just wiping the brush off on my towel. Get some alizarin crimson. Right on the bottom there, if you can. Even that out a little better. Yeah, something like that. That sucker's really shining there. I'm gonna have to get some more water. We're gonna darken that, or at least lift out some more of that water. Or lift out some more of that white paint. I'll get back in control of the English language soon. Hold on. Right it there. There we go. Get rid of that. There you go. All right. And once again, we'll put that little dot somewhere around in here, like that. All right. Okay. All right. Now we have 3. Okay. That is enough of that. Okay. Before we really mess with the Swan, let's go down below. So those are somewhat pretty much done. Okay. Like I said, it'll make sense in a little while. Let's gently peel this tape off here. There. The reason why I say gently, because that happens. Okay. But don't worry about that. That's okay. We'll take care of that. Don't worry about that. Let's take we'll take the 3/4 inch flat. All right. I'll dip this 3/4 inch into the glycerin here, which you guys really don't see. And we'll just kind of block all of this in. As you know, glycerin is highly reflective. Only a thin coat will do you. Okay. So I'm gonna try to cover all of this without, I'll take some from here and just kind of rub it in there. Now I'm not on canvas, I'm on watercolor paper. Watercolor paper is a little porous. It's being blocked by this paint though, but it's such a thin coat on here. Okay, we're going to take a color that's transparent and we're going to put it in this water. Okay. And I'm going to do purple today. I usually do like a blue, but we'll do purple. And we'll just go right across. And then we'll just kind of pop it in there like that. And now, transparent color, what does that mean? Well, when you put a color like dioxazine purple, alizarin crimson, phthalo green, stuff like that, the color will still appear black when you put it on a black background. Okay, that's essentially what that means. Okay, all right. I know technically I'm on pretty early, by standards anyway, pretty early. Okay, no problem. Vermont says, let me look that word up. Yeah, we got rain out here too, Bruce. I'm going to take a little white paint. I'll use this brush because it still maintains a pretty decent edge. And I'm just going both sides, back and forth. Right here, bringing it to me. It still maintains a pretty decent edge. If I can show it to you guys, see that? All right, pretty. See that nice narrow edge there? Okay, and we'll start really just putting in little water lines. Oh, we'll kind of pop a thin one in there like this. If you were wise, you would really use a thinner, smaller brush, but we're just gonna kind of, you see how the blue or the I'm going in a little crisscross, like little U's. Go right through your bird or whatever object you got. The more you rub this stuff in, the more purple it's gonna pick up. You got me? As you get closer, they get a little longer. Thin, thick, thick, thin. Have it cross and skip. All right, same thing here. Just like so. I'm going to take, actually I can take this brush and do it. I'll just dry it off real good. And with a very light touch. Light touch. You just go left or right, just kind of wave it a little bit, just kind of blur it a little. See that? This is the glycerin doing that. It's not losing the shape, but it is blending it into the black. And you just keep doing it to the extent of how much blending you want. I'll just keep it right there, back and forth, just like that. All right. Now that I've did that, I'll just clean off this brush. I'm gonna go to a slightly smaller brush. And we're going to continue the festivities. I'll just use the 1/2" brush. And once again, I'll just dip into some white, bring it towards me. And wherever you want the light source to be, that's where you concentrate the wave action. Once again, it's far away, so as you get closer, they get a little whiter. You start playing around with, you keep the darks there. You start highlighting little bits of, see how it's starting to look. Grab some more titanium white. No glycerin, just pure titanium white. Get yourself a paintbrush that really maintains a deep, a nice, sharp edge. Alright. I'm painting red through this character. Okay. It would be best that you do that. Alright. Maintain some of that brightness. And really, I'm just going over the streaks that are already there. So some of these streaks get highlighted. Just like that. Okay. All right. Now, for those of you who are a little worried and concerned about those spots down there, I'll get a little purple, a little bit of green here. Some alizarin crimson. Dip it into the alizarin crimson, get it pretty dark-ish. If you don't want the spots, make them go away. Just do one of these numbers. Make them go away. Okay, just paint them out. And then I'll just go over some of the dark. So I'll return some of that dark to the water. I'm using green and red, anything just to make the water appear dark in contrast to what you see with the purples. And that's all I'm doing. Even though it's a totally different color, they're not even nowhere near related. It's alright, it's dark. So you're not really gonna recognize that green with all this black and purple going on. You see how it's turning out there. Okay. All right. Let's take we use this palette knife. We'll take a little bit of white, just scrape it out right here. I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, you guys can see that pretty good. And we just get a little bit of that, and we'll just get a nice horizon line going. Just like that, a little separation there. And that's all you need for that. All right, that's done. All right, let's pull back a little bit. I guess that will somewhat, that'll do. All right, so let's gently peel off Mr. Swan here. I use 2-inch masking tape for to mask the Swan. One, you can see red, the pencil marks show right through easily. All right, that's really the main reason why I use it. Now I'm lifting as I'm pulling. Okay. This is why I paint red through the mask, whatever I'm masking. Because if you don't, and you start getting really, stop here, start here, start, it's gonna look like that. So you paint red through the character. House, creature, bird, it doesn't matter. Jar, cookies, it doesn't matter. Whatever your subject is, if you're doing the background, paint red through it, act like it doesn't exist. That way you don't ruin the flow. Yeah, well, there you go. All right, okay. But now you see, all right, whatever's supposed to be behind stays behind. Whatever's supposed to be in the front will be in the front. All right. Oh, Vermont. You know what? I can't get too mad at you. I went to Walmart. I had a craving for cupcakes. And so I bought 2 packages of those freshly baked cupcakes. They're the little mini cupcake, little guys. Me and Blue don't share them. All right, let's get on with this guy. Now, even though it's a swan, quote unquote, a simple swan, I still use my photo reference for this little fella. There he is. Okay, I'm gonna try to get it right as close as I can anyway. Okay, all right. So as I'm looking at this guy, I have to see something here to make sure I got it right. I'm just double checking. All right, okay. Let's get down to business with this guy. I am going to utilize what I don't have. Hold on for a second, guys. I'm not going to use black. I'm going to use this blue, the Prussian blue, alizarin crimson. You're probably a little phthalo green, but I'm going into my alizarin. Let's wipe this off, because I kind of want to show you the color mixing process of doing things. So let's scrape this mess off here. I gotta be aware of the time. Okay, it's only 4:30. We're good. I got choir rehearsal a little bit later. Okay. So let's take some alizarin crimson. We'll put it right here. Some of this Prussian blue. Mix it together. Now what you got is an incredibly deep purple. And in the scheme of things, it will almost appear black. Got some green. Slap that green in there. Okay. It is not black, but it's darn close. I'm gonna get a little more alizarin crimson to deepen it. Okay, there we go. Now, depending on how good your computer is, how good your camera is, your phone is, you can see actually the color difference between the two, maybe. Okay, no glycerin for this part. The Swan does have a mask. All right, he's got this big bulbous thing going on here. Let's do it this way. Okay, so he's got this thing happening, and it curves right around. All right. Now, as it curved around, he's got this little divot right in here, and it comes out. And this little bulbous thing goes around like that. I have to check something, because his bill starts up around in here, and it kind of curves and goes inward. So all of this here is dark. Remember, this will appear black when it's all said and done. All right. So you can get away with painting something that represents black without it really being black. You don't have to use solid black. Black is an incredibly harsh color if you put it up against other colors. All right. Now I'll take some liberty with this bird, because in nature you really wouldn't see his eyes from this far away. But I'll put one in there, because if not, our primitive brains will think the thing is blind. Okay, but I'll throw a eyeball in there. I'm gonna use my tiny little rigger brush. He's got a little bit of this dark, actually underneath his chin, underneath the bill, and it comes up and around. All right, so it kind of comes up around here and it curves. Then right in here, just like you see me doing right now, for that line right in there. He has a line there, just like that. I'll thicken this a little bit. It does come to a point. I'll leave the point be, but we'll do that careful little curve there. Okay, all right. I'm going to start his bill off with a little bit of a yellow base. And just be careful, but I'm going to start it off with yellow. You're not going to see too much of this yellow, but it's going to come through when you apply the orange. If I was smart, I would have gotten rid of this little smile in the pencil marks there. But I didn't, so I might have to improvise a little bit. I didn't think about it until I already put the yellow on. Oops, my bad. That part of the paint was not dry. That's okay. Improvise. Yellow is extremely transparent, so it's okay. Little spots you see, those stains I'm making, don't worry about those. You see I'm not. It's okay. It will be fine. Let's get a little bit of orange. Orange is semi-transparent, so once again, orange needs a little help. A little bit of white in there. Okay, and here we go. Don't worry, we'll get it there. The more titanium white. Pop a slight hint of orange in that. So right up toward the front, right here where that stain is, we'll kind of lighten up that stain there. There we go. Start to do a little shading here. That. All right. We'll let that dry, and we're gonna come back with just a slight hint of red over all of that. Okay. But as you see, that little stain went away. Okay. You can always work your way through it. Hashtag don't panic. Let's get a little bit of this dark. Put a little touch of white in there. You don't want it bleached white, but just a little bit of that. All right. Okay, we're gonna take the corner and we're gonna get some little taps in there. Boom. Highlight some of those dark feathers there. And come on in a circular motion like that. Okay. Don't have too many of them, really just in the front. Just like that. All right. All right. Like I said, the creature's eye is in there, but obviously we don't see it. Therefore, creative license here. We'll go back into this dark, put some of this white, this lighter color in there. All right, I'm using such a small brush. I'm not gonna put any water in it or anything, but we're gonna slap an eye on this creature. So everybody don't start, you know, giving me little emails and messages. Okay. Something like that. That's eye enough. All right. And now he has an eye. Now people can see. He can see now. All right. 'Cause, you know, people start getting all emotional and funny about Mr. Swan. I start getting emotional when his whole body reaches the temperature of 350 degrees and that little red thing pops out. Tell you he's done. Happy Thanksgiving. That's my emotional attachment to Swan. All right, Glycerin Red Paint. Remember, this stuff glycerin makes this stuff transparent. Not really red, it just turns it kind of orangish, to which his bill is pretty much like that. Okay, now I'm gonna add some of this yellow. Nothing added to the yellow, just yellow. Yellow's very transparent, but yellow will also give you a nice little glow to his little bill there. Just like that. All right. Alrighty then. I really don't have to. It's Taco Thursday. Tacos. Okay. Let's get some gray going here. Now, if you look at this color, as you can see, it's turning a mauve gray because of that purple and blue that I've used. I put phthalo green in there. Okay. A little more white. And it's going to start turning more and more light gray, as you can see. See, I don't necessarily have to use black and white for gray. All right, see that? Gray. There you go. Okay. So how did I come up with that version of gray? Well, I started off with that bluish purple green mix with the blue. Okay, which gave that really deep type of bluish black color. All right, the opposite of it is red, and so I just use the deep red, the alizarin crimson. Okay, and what it does is it cancels each other out. It turns it almost brownish. Okay, then on top of that you just add titanium white, and what it does is it makes the neutralized color brighter, and you get gray. Okay, and basically that's it. I don't know how much of this I got that can cover this whole thing, but we're about to find out. Okay, all right, the base coat for this guy obviously will be gray. I might end up using some glycerin here to loosen up this paint to get it to flow, because I really don't think I have enough, so I'll add the glycerin to make the paint flow, thin it out a little bit, make it a little more transparent, and then we'll work from there. Okay, this should somehow work a little bit. If I'm smart, I will lighten it up just a tad. I'll just lighten it up here. Let's see. That may work. That might be a little too dark, so we'll go with the lighter version. Now, in case I run out, obviously I know what color to make or to use, which is obviously white. Okay, all right, 1/2-inch brush. Base coat, head, neck, and a little bit of the body. All right. Hey Tommy, how are you? It's good to see you. I think we're far enough away, right, guys? And basically, as you see, use the glycerin, and I'll just kind of block them in. Go back into it. Keep blocking them in. Remember, this paint's got glycerin in it. Okay. I don't necessarily have to keep him this smooth, but we'll be adding all the feather-like textures to him in a few minutes. For those of you who follow me on the regular, whoops, get out of there. Those of you who follow me on the regular know I don't do too many wild creatures. I just don't. Some people, if they had their way, they would prefer that I do. Some people would prefer that I just stick with the florals. But it's all good. Everybody has their thoughts and opinions. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Get a little more white. Come out here. Bring some of that gray in there. Just like that. There we go. So as I add this stuff in here, I'm looking at it. See if it needs to be darkened up a little bit. And you just keep it going. Oops. A little thick. Slap some glycerin in there. Get this stuff traveling here. The glycerin also reactivates the dried up color. Also. Obviously, when you get to the edge, be very careful. Now, masked animals, whoops, will tend to grow on you, meaning that you might get outside that line a little bit. It's fine, as long as your chickadee don't turn into a Tyrannosaurus because you keep going outside the lines, it's okay. Kind of expected, really. They will grow on you. And if you can, really just get rid of the edges first it would just probably save you a whole lot of heartache. I gotta be mindful of where my head is here. I'll get it as close as possible. When I'm on this side, I'm actually doing it blind. But it's okay. Now be careful. Remember, glycerin will reactivate this paint. So if you're a little close to the rose or whatever subject you got back there, it might bleed in. But that's all right. If it bleeds into the swan, it's okay. I mean, you know, this technique just doesn't work for a swan. I mean, you can have a moose, a cockroach, it doesn't matter, it's an animal. Okay, up and around here. I'll probably go to a smaller brush as I get closer and closer. All depends on how steady my hands is at the period of the day, to be honest with you. And how fast I want this done. Yeah, let's be smart and let's go with the smaller brush. Can you guys see this all right? Smaller brush, same color. Whatever glycerin I have up top is pretty much dry. It might be tacky, but it's dry. All right, man, that's about the end of that. Okay, yeah. He's pretty much blocked in, okay. All right. Well, that was nice. I go to there. Okay. Now we've got it base coated in its gray. Okay. Now I can pretty much, depending on how I see it, I can use this gray as its deep dark tone and just build the white on top of it. Okay. Or I can just lighten the gray, okay, and just get it close to the white and just work on highlights. Okay, so I got two ways to really look at this. All right, to do it. All right, okay. I guess we'll do it that way. We'll get some white right up in here. A little more white there. Already lighten that gray up a little bit. Right in here, all this. Okay, it's not totally stark white. And I'm taking a lot of paint off the brush as I'm doing this. It'd be kind of a dry brush thing. All right, and your work, obviously you're not going to draw every single freaking feather on this thing. That'll take you about 3 weeks. All right, but you're going to give that impression of it. And I'll just take it and I will. Now remember, this is just a slightly lighter gray, and I'm going in a circular kind of fashion. Actually, that's not light enough, believe it or not. So I will go over here and I will add or white. But I'm going to get some of that gray and put it in there. You see that? Just a little bit of gray. As soon as you contaminate this white with whatever color, all right, it's no longer white. It might appear so, but it's not. All right, let's try that again. The flat of the brush, very, very light. That's better. I'm not adding the final highlights, but we're going in that kind of direction though. Okay, and we're going to continue that on. You can tell by the cheek bones, the cheek area, where the roundness will come, and you just follow the roundness. Go underneath, circular pattern. Now remember, this is going to get lighter and lighter. Okay. I'm going into the natural gray here because he's got a little dark patch in the underneath here and underneath his neck, right in here, just like that. Okay, just a little bit right in there. I want you to see the variance in the colors. Okay. And he's got a little bit of that darker tone going down his back, or the back of his neck, really. So right down in here, the back of his neck, I'll just kind of roll it along, roll it along. You're establishing the roundness of this guy too, as you're doing this. So I'm really basing things off of different shades of gray right now. Okay. And he's got some tufts going in around his neck there. It's like little crease folds in there. And you're just pretty much painting the representation of those folds. All right. Up around in here where the base is, right in here. It's got a little crease there. It's not too far. I mean, you keep your eye on it as you're doing it. I just flip the brush around and get some lighter tones going there. I'm gonna go back. As I'm looking, I'm still checking things out here. Building up some more dark tones around that neck area. He's got a little bit of love showing in here. Okay, all right. I'm going into more titanium white, but I'm putting it in this lighter gray. Right in here. Okay. No glycerin, just the paint itself. All right. Okay. And it's almost like you're either doing fog or clouds, that little dry brush thing. I got an hour, more or less. And I'm gently, very gently adding specific little lighter highlights and spots. It might not look like too much of a change, but it is. If you notice, things are slowly building up here. Now I am looking at the photo here. Just in certain spots, certain areas. I could turn the brush around a little bit. It's just giving the impression of a whole bunch of feathers packed down there. Once again, this is not the final highlight. This is still a light form of gray. It looks white. Trust me, it's not. When I was doing things like this and learning it, that was one of my big headaches and troubles is gently building up color and discerning the color. The more you do it, the more accustomed you'll get to it. But that was an issue of mine. To a certain area on his neck that kind of builds up a steady lightness there. Okay, go back into my titanium white, go right back into this off gray color, contaminate that color a little bit. No glycerin, still all the nobody's talking to me. Did you all go home? Down by its breastbone, it's generally brighter. Once again, it's not white, it's still gray. Hello, Mystic. How are you? Good to see you. Maybe you'll be a sweetheart and talk to me. Everybody else seemed to have gone silent on me. I'm still getting that really light gray mix here. That's all I'm doing, building that light gray. Very, very light gray. Now after that shadow right up around in here, it gets generally brighter right in here. All of this. Using the side of the brush. Still maintaining sort of a featherish shape. You kind of see the, well, not yet, but you see the little bit of a wing going on over there. All right. I am using the back end of the brush, the flat end back end of the brush, just building up the layers of color. Lurking is still love. I guess you're right, because I do my share of that at times. So, can't argue that. All right. I'm thinking here. I think we're good here. We're scraping all of this. It's going bye-bye. This can go bye-bye too. All right. If I feel I need some more, I'll just bring it up. I'll just get some more, but I think that's it. Okay. Once again, for the sake of time, no. Yeah. Sake of time. Let's get a slightly larger brush. Okay. I'm gonna pat this titanium white down on each side here. Come right here and wipe a lot of that off. Right there. Okay. All right. Down below here, fairly bright. Okay. And a build-up process. Very light touches here. Very light. Let's get that. Let's establish that wing line. He's got a thin one. Now think of this. I think yesterday I was doing fog. Same concept. But instead of fog, you're making feathers. And you're going to slowly build that up. Using the side of the brush. And you continuously use the side of the brush. And trust me, you will build up that white color on this. Well, thank you, Mary. Mary's still alive. She's still hanging with me. Underside of the brush. Very light. And if you see him going along his neckline, you follow me? I can turn it around. Just like that. Going into my titanium white, I'm going to still pull the brush toward myself. Still going in that curved motion. That's all you can do, Mary. Just hang in there. That ought to be my mantra. I say it enough. As you can see, Mr. Swan is getting brighter and brighter. The whole thing will not be in titanium white. Only certain areas of him will be stark white. And you'll see that as I keep building. It doesn't look like much is coming off, but trust me, it is. I'm looking at the picture where a lot of the bright white would show. Do 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 do. You know, Mary, when I come live, not too many people talk when I'm on. You figure I would get a little used to it by now, but nope. The cone is silent. Just like fog, so you follow the curve, and trust me, a little bit of the white is slowly coming off the brush. Okay, slowly coming off the brush. Once I go up by his head, we'll lighten things up again. But using the side brush, you get a certain texture. And when you keep building and building and building, you still got a slight texture going on. So you're not really filling in everything, okay? Heavier paint, by his wings, because a lot of this is dry now, so I can kind of really lay out some white like that. You see how it starts to stick out there. Sometimes you have to wait for the paint to kind of settle. Okay. You still see that wing line there. You follow me? Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. Sometimes a break is needed, you know. The break I took was kind of well, it wasn't necessarily a willing one, but it was one that I needed. Now, I'm only going heavy in certain spots on his neck, where I know the light is definitely connecting it with him. Only certain spots on him. Will it be totally white? But as you see, it's just gradual building. All right. Can't escape it. Just gradual progression of things. Up by his little cheek line here. It's got a nice little circle of brightness there. Yes, I will use my finger in a hot minute. Well, I hope so, Diana, or Mary. But it's fun seeing you and Diana interact with each other. I enjoy it. Usually, if I'm listening to you guys, I'm usually at the drawing board myself. Okay, I'm going into some water. Going into this white here with the rigger brush here, little tiny guy. And just, you know, little high points, straight lines will do you. Keep with the, once again, keep with the flow of the bird's neck. And do little hashtags, but you're putting quite a few in. When you do this, keep them relatively close together, and you have to go with the flow of the creature's fur or feathers, okay, or hair. You follow me? But you see how it's starting to look, even with this really strong light that's going on there. And I'm not going to add them everywhere. It's going to look like that by the time I'm done, but I'm not adding them all over the place. The light catches this stuff. You follow me? Okay. And where I see the highlighted color is where I'm adding them. I'm not going over that dark gray. That I won't do, because you need those shadows. Even in a bird that's white, you still need those shadows there. You follow me? And this paint is, well, it's obviously titanium white. It's a thick paint, very opaque. So you will actually see this because it's not thinned and it's not scumbled on there. So you'll see it. All right. And this, once again, I'm only doing it in certain spots, and once again going with the flow of the creature's neck. You don't have to add it all over the place. Won't be necessary. And it truly depends on how detailed you want the bird to be, because you can spend a considerable amount of time doing this. Once again, I'm not going anywhere near the gray areas. You need those gray areas. It's always good to see a sleestack. Well, sleestack, you got your second or third dinosaur. It's just a swan. A mute swan at that. Every time I do something like this, I'm reminded why I don't do animals. It does take time. Let's get some water. We'll thin out this paint just a little bit, just a tiny bit. Let's go by his head here. Now, it's important, remember, follow the feather lines. Follow the contour of the bird's jaw. It's circular. It's circular. It gets tighter as he gets closer to the middle. All right. All depending on where the light source is hitting on this guy. With the rigger brush, you can really concentrate on those certain highlight spots that are undoubtedly on his face. Where's Shane Rebel at? She would enjoy this. Oh, then again, it might be 4 in the morning from where she lives. Or 5 in the morning. It's almost dipped into the glycerin. We're almost done, guys. We're almost there. We're almost there. Believe it or not. We're almost there. Okay. Let's take a flat brush. I would rather take a slightly wider one, but let's see if I got one. I do have one to me. Let me do this. Now, white, titanium white, leaves a chalky, once again, it leaves a chalky residue. So with the vegetable glycerin, put it right here. A little bit of white there. Just like that. Now, it leaves a chalky residue here. Okay. You can see it here. Put a little more. Okay. And I'm just going to glaze along his back area so it's not too gray. Okay. So I'll just take it and glaze that. See that? Now this is a glaze, so you can strengthen or lower the intensity of this stuff. You're still going to see that little bit of gray there, but it's just covering it with a little white. And it brings this whole thing together a little bit. You still see shades of the gray, but you also can tell, you know, a little bit of feathers that are coming out of the highlights of a totally white bird, which is why you would do on a white animal, you would just do it in shades of gray or blue gray or whatever, brown gray, but some neutral color. So when you do add things, you know, pretty much kind of look like that. Okay, so you still got roundness where you got the light hitting. Okay, so I hope what I'm doing makes a little sense to you. But she's pretty much a done deal. really add a slight touch of that white right in here a little bit. We'll bleach that out just a little bit. That's like, okay. Even though I have the white on it, you still see the definition. You still see stuff underneath there. Especially where I want it to be super bright white. That's really about it. It's pretty much where, you know. And when it dries, you'll still see definition. You'll see the feathers and whatnot. Thank you, Madonna. All right, let's put this away. These are actually my floral brushes, which is, you know, it's almost the same concept. In doing swans, certain birds, and all of that. I think that's the only ones I used out of this. Let's put this back. Okay, let's get the old familiar script liner. Yeah, I don't see it. I'll just use this one. It doesn't matter. I guess I'll use the blue today. And I'll put it right down here by his wing. There we go. All right, we can get rid of this. Now, let's draw back a little bit. Guess we'll put it right about there. Not too shabby for a piece of throwaway remnant foam board and watercolor paper. When you see the tape come off like that, it's just the X-Acto knife when I was cutting the swan. And as far as I know, I think I got this thing taped in the back, I believe. There we go. Well, already then. Well, there you have it, guys. Oh, yeah. So we have our leaves, we have our dewdrops, we have our animal, we have our water in the back. Yeah, got our florals, got our stars back there. So everything's pretty much represented back here. And I lowered my light, so instead of the beam being way up here concentrated, it's actually concentrated in this area. So this area might be a little bleached out, but everything's pretty much there. It still gives the impressions of his feathers and all of that. So yeah, yeah. So I do, you know, it's it's for sale like every other painting. Just either email me or get me on Messenger, whatnot, and we'll talk. What is it? 8x16. So yeah. All right, that will be the end of that for today. I gotta get up out of here in about 50 minutes or so. Thank you very much, Madonna. And as usual, you'll see me put this on, I gotta make a thumbnail of it, and you'll see the picture on Facebook in a few minutes. Thank you guys for hanging out. I hope I didn't torture you too bad. Almost 2 hours. So, thank you very much, Mary. Like I said, I don't do too many animals, but yeah, I did enjoy doing this one for you guys. Animals and flowers together. So, all right, I shall see you guys when I see you. Take care. Be safe. And bye-bye.